Gigi Blankies proudly presents Musings with Steve and Teresa. They're here to enlighten, entertain, and inform about issues they think are important. They want people to think about how positive actions make positive people. Their show is captured and linked to YouTube. The programs are listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube video, and you can watch them as well as listen. Now on with the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to our show. We're very happy to have you with us today. Our program is captured and linked to YouTube, listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube video as Musings with Steve and Teresa, which strangely enough is the name of our program. I'm Steve, co-host.
I'm Teresa, the other co-host.
We come to enlighten, entertain, and inform about issues we think are important. We want you to think about how positive actions can make positive people. Terry, what kind of blankie do we have today?
All right, we have another fleece one that's almost done. This is green stripes, but with a yellow binding instead. And I'm taking, instead of trying to quilt it with the machine, which it seems I can't sew a straight line without a drawing. I decided to tie this one together with just little pieces of embroidery floss, old style.
That's the way my grandma did it.
Right.
Great grandma too.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring it back. And I got to stitch this. I think I'm going to use contrasting stitching, maybe some red or burgundy. I haven't decided what kind of stitching on that, but Facebook pictures will be posted later when it's done. So.
That's fantastic.
Ought to be really warm. It's double-sided. It was thin fleece, so I doubled it, and it's pretty warm. A little blanket.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, today we're still talking about Halloween a little bit, and we're going to also, we did a study on chakras as a byproduct of our investigations. We'll clue you in on that a little bit, but we found some interesting little stories on the internet, and one of them said, I dressed my dog up as a cat for Halloween. Now he won't come when I call him. Now that's a cat joke for people who don't have cats. Yeah. Cats don't come when they're called, only when you open the can to feed them. Maybe the refrigerator door will do it well.
My cats are always hoping they get fed, so they come.
Everyone at the company I worked for dressed up for Halloween. One fellow's costume stumped us. He simply wore slacks and a white t-shirt with a large 98.6 printed across the front in glitter. When someone finally asked what he was supposed to be, he said, I'm a temp.
98.6.
That I thought was pretty cute.
Here is this. Lady's 6-year-old son was excited about his Halloween costume. He says, I'm going to be the Pope, he said. Ian, you can't be the Pope. You're not Catholic, you're Lutheran. Ian hadn't thought about that, so he considered his alternatives. After a few minutes he asked, is Dracula a Lutheran?
that depends on who you're talking to. Yeah. Last year, my daughter and her children were invited to a Halloween party. Her older son wanted to go as Count Dracula, her daughter as a ballerina, her younger son as the cabin boy in Treasure Island. I think his name was Jim.
Yeah.
Then my daughter donned her own costume, wrapping herself in strips of white sheeting. At the party, she collapsed, exhausted on the sofa. What are you? Someone asked. She said, I'm a tired mummy. You can identify with that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Here, let's just pop that apart. Yeah. All right, what else we got here? Here's one I think was interesting. Is a military man was doing his friends a favor, and he went to pick up their kid from daycare on his way home from the base. He was signing out and felt something pressing against his back. And he turned to see the kid that he was picking up painting on his camouflage uniform. He says, what are you doing? And the kid says, I like your tree costume. But you need some red and yellow leaves. His tree costume. He was in camo.
Yeah. I got a big kick out of this one. It was Halloween night when a driver called our road service dispatch office complaining that he was locked out of his car.
Uh-oh.
I forwarded the information to a locksmith along with a word that one more detail. The car was parked in a nudist colony. Of course, the locksmith arrived in a record time, and when he called in later, he wasn't amused. Figures, he said, I finally get to go to a nudist colony, and they're having a costume party.
No nudity there.
No nudity there. Well, Terry, you did some research on chakras. Why don't you clue us in on what
chakras are? Well, my research revealed, and I mean, I don't know if everybody knows about chakras or has any chakra exposure. Well, you really wouldn't want your chakras exposed, but they're, let's see, okay, here we go. This explains it quite well. Chakras are energy centers that run from the base of your spine out the top or the crown of your head. The word chakra is a Sanskrit word meaning wheel or disc, so they're all supposed to be little round things. There are several major chakras, each a circular wheel of light spinning in your energetic system, associated with certain body parts, a color, stone, element, and function. Supposedly, by learning to tune into the energy of your chakras, you can begin to embrace the fullness of who you truly are. And they said that the chakras correspond to vital points in the physical body, but are generally understood as being parts of the subtle or the astral body. And as far as when somebody came up with the concept, it ranges from the 8th century, credited to a Buddhist guy, to mentions here and there in ancient writings that it could be possibly 10,000 years old. Here in the West, we mostly follow the translation that an English guy did in the early 1900s, and that's kind of what we base our Western chakra theories on. But let's see.
Well, we have a picture of the 7 chakras for beginners, and
we'll post it on the Facebook.
Yeah, but they go. The purple one is right over your head. And that's the crown chakra. The third eye chakra is right here.
Wow.
And I just read something here. The third eye looks in to see the inner self. Didn't know that. I thought the third eye was looking behind you. But
no, that's the sixth
the
eye.
throat chakra the third eye is a dark blue. And the throat chakra is a light blue. And the heart chakra is green.
Green.
Right in about there.
Wow.
And the solar plexus chakra is the one right under your rib cage.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom of the ribs. And the sacral chakra is about where you, the solar plexus is yellow. Okay, it's associated with the color yellow. And the belly button is associated with the that's the sacral chakra, and that's an orange. And then the root chakra is at your tailbone. Now this is associated with your backbone categorically. Now, by way of explaining,
Root, base of the spine, hold you up.
Okay,
Yeah,
but the root chakra is the foundation, and the definitions go on and on and on.
Supposedly they say if your chakras get blocked, it can lead to illnesses. So I guess it's good to keep your energies flowing freely. Now I've known some people that work with this stuff, and they swear by chakras and this and that. And we've just begun to explore chakras and moving of energies and everything. But it seems like quite a fascinating subject.
Well, the controlling factor seems to be being able to visualize the
colors.
Well, visualize and talk to yourself. Years ago, I got into this stuff from the idea. I call it ooming. Supposedly, if you think the word oom, that
it has a frequency.
It tunes your inner electrical vibrations, and you don't even have to say it out loud. You just think it, and it will make your third eye open.
Tickles the back of my throat.
Yeah, and when you do this, then you are able to talk to the inner self, the one that you don't really talk to very often, and you can suggest things to the inner self, and if you phrase them properly and really believe, it'll happen.
I talk to my inner self a lot.
Now, one of the things that we've been checking around is the fact that there's a lot of guilt and fear around, and it turns out that the guilt and fear are related to the sacral, the belly button, and the root, and gives us with the idea of somebody having the solar plexus and the stomach. You get upset and your stomach tightens up, or your guts, your solar plexus gets all tied up in knots, and that leads to constipation, and
it leads to all kinds of things getting backed up.
And the phrase "tight."
Well, it kind of makes sense. If your physical body can get all tightened up so that nothing flows through, why couldn't your astral body? With all your energies.
Well,
I mean, it's like a
assuming
little
that you can accept the idea that there's an astral body.
Right. Well,
some of this stuff that I got into, I find in one case you would say this is no-no land according to religion. In other cases, as far as I'm concerned, it validates the expressions that are expressed in my basic religious training in the Bible, that these things are there, and these are the other levels that they're talking about. When you're initiated into the church, they tell you the secrets of the church, and these are the next levels of information that you've got that are available to understand. You can stop anywhere.
It's not a secret anymore.
Well, it never was a secret, really.
They just discouraged everyone from investigating.
Well, if I were going to control you, if you remember, go to bed, shut the door, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway. Talking here, I found a little bit about scientific proof. But most people believe that there isn't any. But a guy back in the early 70s that was both a scientist and a spiritual person, a Shinto priest actually, came up with an instrument that was used to detect minute electrical and optical changes that occurred in the immediate environment of the experimental subject. So he built this little detector, and while the people were doing their meditations, he put it like on the on a heart chakra for like a minute before, a minute during. I mean, they had a little way to do it, and he did get some readings. But a guy that was an advanced practitioner, they used the solar plexus and the heart. And they got different readings from him because when his regular meditation, he used his heart chakra. So I guess it was real strong. But as far as I can see, this was like a one-time thing. Nobody proved it yet. Or disproved it either.
Well, we mentioned it earlier in our discussion today that part of this from another source said that we have not tuned in to the energies that are there.
Right.
And therefore our instruments don't record them because we have not recognized and found a way to tune them.
Yep.
Well, in summary today, we explored Halloween a bit. I got a couple of more stories if we have time. We talked about chakras, and we hope that it was informative and entertaining. Our mission on these Blog Talk radio presentations is to stimulate your thinking and prod your mind into new channels, pump up your interest in life, and rebuild your enthusiasm.
Yep.
Whether you're pro or con, we insist you join us as we
investigate,
evaluate, and participate.
Be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
We want to thank you for listening to our podcast today. This program is archived at Blog Talk Radio, captured and archived for YouTube video, and linked to our Facebook. Comments are welcome. We'll return with our continuing viewpoints next Tuesday. No, next Tuesday is...
I think it's still November or December. October.
December.
It's like the
23rd, and it should be the 30th.
Well, next week anyway. 7 days from today.
7 days today. We'll join us. Maybe some of our positions will be yours. I'm Steve.
I'm Teresa.
Thank you for listening. Remember to think positive.
Be positive.
And live positive.
Enjoy.
And goodbye.
See ya.
Gigi Blankies, thank you for listening to the podcast today. This program is archived at Blog Talk Radio, captured and archived for YouTube video, and linked to Facebook as Musings with Steve and Teresa. Thank you for listening. Think positive, be positive, live positive, and enjoy.